Hi guys, my name is Adriana and I am officially a registered nurse. I just want to come here and make this first video and post on YouTube for the first time in years. Just kind of about my experience as a nurse, as a nursing student, to get my Nclex. So what I want to talk about today is, when I took the exam, my experience briefly. I don't want to go into that much depth about it. I think if people do like it, I will talk about in detail. However, just for now, just to kind of get a feel for what you guys want to hear and what you guys are interested in, I'm just going to talk about what's new with the Nclex in 2020 and the resources I use. I'll just give you a brief description. I filmed this video and it was like 20 minutes long. I was like, my first video should not be 20 minutes long, so I do want to kind of limit it to 10 minutes. But yes, let's get started. If you are a nursing student, if you are thinking of applying to nursing school, if you're about to take your NCLEX, if you're a new grad, if you're about to start your new job, feel free to listen, like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram. It's AGT_nurse. I will put it in my description box. And yeah, listen if you are still interested. Keep listening. So I took my NCLEX July 20th, and I got my unofficial results that I passed, on, 48 hours later, so July 23rd, 22nd, July 22nd. Yeah, so I passed, and I passed 60 questions. It was very, very stressful. I had never been a person that suffered from anxiety before. I did not have any test anxiety. I've been in school for so long that just, I didn't, testing for me, it was like, it's another thing. I failed some, but I've always been a decent student. I've never had testing anxiety until the NCLEX. When it comes to general testing, if you ever feel like you're horrible at it, you're just average. I knew I was an average, kind of general standardized test taker. I never exceeded, I never failed. I was just right in the middle. So I was really, really nervous because this test basically determined the rest of my life. And I can talk about this in another video if you guys do like it and subscribe, so I hope you do. I will talk about my job offer and when I will be starting that, but I was basically scheduled to take the NCLEX, and it was contingent, I had a job contingent on me passing the NCLEX, so that was very stressful. I had to reschedule my NCLEX to an earlier date just because my job depended on it. I had it scheduled for August 13th, and when I got my job offer, my start date was August 17th, so they were like, if you were still interested, you should reschedule it. So they didn't force me to do it, but I was like, yeah, no, I just want to get it over with. So I had about 2.5 weeks to study for the NCLEX, and this is what I did, okay? So first I want to talk about what's new about the NCLEX. With the pandemic, there's a couple new stuff that they have updated. One is the length of the test. It used to be 6 hours, now it's 4 hours, and the minimum questions that you could do is 60 questions now. It used to be 75, and before I think you had about 275 questions that you could do, and now you only have 130. So minimum 60, maximum 130 now. So if you plan on taking your NCLEX, as of now, it's extended until September 30th because I just looked it up. It might be extended longer than that, but yes, if you are planning on taking your test as of now, before September 30th, then you will be within these guidelines. So 60 questions minimum, 130 max, 4 hours, and you have to wear a mask at your testing test center. So mask is a big one. If you're not used to wearing masks, you better get used to it, not just for the NCLEX, but because you're going to become a nurse. My testing center, all depends on yours. My testing center, we just required any kind of mask that covered your face, but you did have to wear it above your nose. So I know I heard a lot of people say that in their testing center, they kind of they could have it underneath here, underneath the chin. When they got to their station, if they did not leave, if they left the station, they would have to put it back up. Mine, you have to have it on at all times. They do watch you. If not, you could get potentially like kicked out of the exam for that, the testing center for that. So not worth it. So I did. I basically bought these like surgical masks out of ShopRite, and I practiced my tests, my questions with it. So I got used to it, and honestly, it did help me. I used the same mask that I was using the entire time for practice, just because, you know, they have a little stink when you take it out of the package. So I started using it the first like 2.5 weeks before, something like that. And I would just practice with it on, and just kind of got used to it, kind of got loose. So that is a very big difference. So now, just moving on really quickly, I have about 5 minutes left. I want to keep this short about the resources I use. Two main ones that I did use was Mark Klimek audios and UWorld. You're going to hear UWorld from every person. Every YouTuber is going to say UWorld. Obviously, there's different ones. It doesn't work for some people. It does for some others. But from what I watched before from my friends at PASS, the consensus is that UWorld is the way to go. It is exactly like the Nclex. The wording, the color is exactly the same as the Nclex. You do have to buy it. It's kind of expensive. You can buy different packages, or you can buy like a 30-day, a 90-day. So it on 180 days, so you can get whatever you want. It depends on what package you get. You either get 2 assessments or 1 assessment. So the assessments are 100 questions each, and it will give you kind of like an idea of where you're at. Like if you have a very high chance of passing, a high chance of passing, borderline, or low chance of passing. And I can go into that if you guys like and subscribe my video, and just comment down below that you want to hear more about UWorld and how that works and my test taking strategy. But for now, I just want to mention the resources I use that helped me pass last month. So UWorld was my main one, and then Mark Klimek audios. I did print Mark Klimek's lecture, and these are it. Obviously they're not that long, they're pretty big, so honestly loved it. I listened to his audios, most of them. I don't think I listened to like the psych one, just because I read it and I didn't think it was going to be helpful for me. So honestly, I do recommend listening to them all if you have the time. I just kind of was like really picky with like what I spend my time with, just because I was so limited on it. So I would listen to Klimek, I would highlight what I think was important, and when I had like 3 or 4 days left, I went over each topic, and I added a sticky note, no more than 1 sticky note per topic, and then like the 2 days before the text, I would just read the sticky notes. And then for UWorld, I basically I did random, I did all unused random questions. I did not divide it by topic again, because I was so limited in time, and that is honestly depends on you and how you're studying. I'm not an organized person. I wouldn't say I was. I'm not messy either. I'm just kind of like in between. But I divided by topic within like my notebook. So I did adult health, mom and baby, peds, fundamentals, farm, mental health, and nutrition. And like honestly, mental health and nutrition, I have maybe 1 to 2 pages total. Adult health, I have like a lot. Which makes sense because it's most of the content. So I basically, to show you what I did, I would write down like the questions, whether I got them right, wrong, or if I just guessed. I remediated everything that I could. If it was something that I just knew, because that like, I could know without like, you know, reading the entire questions, then I wouldn't add it. But if it was something that I think was really important and I still got right, but I just think that it might be on the Nclex, I would write it down, and then I would highlight the ones that I would keep getting consistently, and then I would put like a little check mark next to the ones that I got wrong and that I kept getting consistently. So that way, when I went back and did other questions, I would review the ones that were highlighted, the ones that were marked before anything else. If I didn't have that much time, I would just review those. If I had the entire day, like if it was a weekend, I would read the entire notebook. So that is how I divided my UWorld questions. And then the last resource that I use, which is not really, I didn't really use it, I do recommend it, is REUQEST. Again, REUQEST you do have to pay. Klimek you do have to pay. I know they're You can get them online. I just, obviously copyright issues, I can't share it, but you can, I know there's a way you can get the Climac audio online. And if you have any questions on that, DM me on my Instagram, because I'm free to answer you on my DMs, but I don't feel comfortable sharing it with YouTube. But basically, REUQEST review is also great for content, especially adult health. If you don't feel comfortable, if you've been out of school for a while, they give you this book if you pay for it, and then you watch the videos and you go along with it and just write down like that. Like, you just write down what they say. So REUQEST is good for content if you have been out of school for a while and you don't remember any topic, like fluid and electrolytes or acid, base, and balance. I do recommend REUQEST. But if I had to pick two, again, I'm going to say UWorld and Mark Clement lectures. Okay? So I think that's, I kind of like said everything that I wanted to say for this video. Again, if you guys are interested in something that I just mentioned and you want me to go into detail about it, comment below. Even if it's just one person that comments below, I will answer you, whether it's through a video of my own or DM me on my Instagram, and I will feel free to message you and give you some advice. All right?